Hello everyone and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, and today we've got four great decks for you. Actually, we got five great decks for you because these two card packages in various forms are absolutely taking over the Marvel Snap meta. We're going to talk about all of the decks that they're featured in, and you're going to tell me which of these you like best. But what's really important here is that you need to know about these two card packages because you're going to be facing them in an absolute ton of matches. We're going to kick it off with a deck that's familiar to people who watch my top 10 decks video. This is the deck that I think is the best right now in Marvel Snap. Because we talked about it earlier, we're going to go over this first one briefly, but it is the standard example of this card package. You can find the creator of this deck at twitter.com/AndreVar14. He's the leader of Team FAK, Freaks at Kitchen, apparently, which is one of the best and most competitive Marvel Snap alliances. This deck needs Fenris Wolf, Cannonball, Mercury, Galacta, and Gwenpool. Gladiator and Copycat can be Mobius or your best generic 3, and Mr. Fantastic can be Surge. So the package is as follows. You are running Mercury, you are running Fenris Wolf, you are running two of, sometimes all three of, Negasonic, Gladiator, and Shang-Chi, and you are running Cannonball. This little package ends up being one of the most effective in the game. What you do is you run that package and then you run another points package around it. In this instance, we're running Galacta and Gwenpool along with Zabu and Mr. Fantastic as a way to get them early. Juggernaut is often a part of this package because you can usually win one lane easily with the control card, and the other lane has some decent points thanks to Galacta and Gwenpool, but is often won by like a Juggernaut or Negasonic type card, preventing the opponent from playing at a location. Right now, this is actually I think it's down to rank 5, but it has been as high as rank 4 on the Infinite leaderboard. Turn 1 Zabu, turn 2 Fantastic over Mercury over Fenris as a mosquito flies by my head. Turn 3 Gwenpool or Galacta over Gladiator over Copycat or Negasonic. Turn 4 Gwenpool or Galacta, and Gwenpool and Galacta are your snap conditions. White means you almost always snap this, and green means this is a conditional snap condition depending on what's happening around you. Turn 5 Fenris or Mercury, end of 3. If you know you're going to cannonball, Mercury might make more sense. If you got Fenris out earlier or you didn't get any good destroys, you can make sure Fenris happens. It's up to you. You play those with a 3. Generally speaking, that's Gladiator or Negasonic. Sometimes it'll be Juggernaut. Cannonball Shang or Jug and Negasonic are also your end of turn plays. If you can play a card with Cannonball, you do. You rarely can in this list unless Mr. Fantastic has been very kind to you. Shang, you can usually play a card with. Although Mercury has limited use and Fenris is actively like not good on the last turn, right? You're just playing a 2-3. Or you can play Juggernaut and Negasonic together, which is often a very powerful play. This is the core package in a lot of top decks. In fact, we're going to see it in yet another top 10 deck. But first, if you're willing to please hit that sub button and like and comment, we bring you the best Marvel Snap content, a new video every single day. Very often we do 2 videos in a day. If you want more Marvel Snap content than absolutely anyone, please hit that sub, leave a like and a comment. It would mean the world to us if you threw us that support. Yoda decided to try this package in a Thing list. Thing is a destroy card, so works with Fenris Wolf, but you don't have to trigger the Thing until the end of the game, right? However, if Thing hits a decent sized card, it's just another option for Fenris Wolf. You can also play Thing at the end of the game where you're not going to get the Fenris trigger, but you just played a really powerful card that's going to disrupt the opponent. Turns out, this version is completely disgusting. This version that goes sort of all in on 2 drops is one of the best versions of this archetype. Unhelpful Yoda is the creator of this. He is a top player, someone who I constantly play on ladder. This deck needs Mercury, Cannonball, Thing, Gladiator, and Fenris. Those 5 cards are required for this version, although there are slightly different requirements for every version. Please note, Gladiator is a requirement if we don't run Shang-Chi. If we run Shang-Chi, we don't necessarily need Gladiator, but you see no Shang, then you do need Gladiator. Mr. Fantastic, Surge, Merlin, and Sam are just the best 2 drops in the game. Sam in particular is really good for the Thing. Kate Bishop, Mirage, Cable, Iron Patriot, so on. Just good 2 drops are fine there, although replacing Fantastic and Surge is the hardest thing to do. Turn Copycat can be Juggernaut if you are so inclined to make that change as well. Okay, so Spider-Ham is here just as an extra control card. It's really nice to have a card like Spider-Ham if you're going to run Merlin, because you can throw it back into the deck or turn it into a 2-drop to make it something better. We are doing the same Mercury Fender stuff we were before. Mercury as a semi-control card for Werewolf and such, Mercury for Cannonball, and Fenris Wolf for the, in this case, Gladiator and Negasonic. And in certain instances, you will play the Thing to fill on 5 if you can get a clear and key kill in order to trigger Fenris Wolf, excuse me, on turn 5. That is a doable thing too. The reason you're able to do that is because this deck doesn't run fours, so it's very often spending its turn 4 going 2+2. So you have so many twos here that you can pick and choose when to play them. You can go double 2 on turn 4, and then you can play the thing using like a Sam Shield to fill on turn 5 if you think you can get the right card with Fenris. That also works where you have so many twos you can go 3+2 on 5. Both of those are great. So that's fundamentally the strategy here. Fantastic and Surge give you some extra energy, extra power. Obviously, just good things to have. Sam Wilson helps fill the thing lane and unfill the thing lane as you so choose, while also just being a decent power card. Everyone forgot how good Sam is. He's still quite good. The shield also, again, gives you something for Merlin to chuck into the deck for extra energy, meaning that this can operate in many situations sort of as a Wiccan list. Once in a while, you'll go 2+2 on 5 and then give yourself a Wiccan last turn, which means you can go Mercury and Cannonball on last turn all by itself, which is incredibly powerful. Merlin gives you a bunch of optionality. The Wiccan spell, the return a card to your deck for plus energy is generally the best, but turning one of your weaker twos into a 3-drop is pretty damn solid. Turning like a used Negasonic into a 4-drop is really good. Negasonic and Gladiator are your extra destroy cards. They also have decent power or play for a lot of power. Copycat gives you, so if these two packages are all over the place, getting just purely good cards out of Copycat is often a snap condition. Incredibly powerful stuff. Thing is just big. This is the list that Thing has felt best in once you get the hang of using him, determining whether you want him on 5 or 6, and how to handle him, and like whether you want to destroy or use the destroy as distraction. All that's really good stuff. And then of course Cannonball is your last turn. I finished this. With this deck, Unhelpful Yoda had a 72% win rate in 65 games, which is phenomenal. Turn 1, you play Spider-Ham. Turn 2, Fantastic over Surge, over Merlin, over Sam, over Fenris equals Mercury. Turn 3 is generally a 2+1 of Merlin or Gladiator. That's better than Negasonic, which is equal to Copycat. It's hard to tell you when to Copycat because we don't know what that card is, right? It could be almost anything. Turn 4, we almost always want a 2+2. We can go 3+1 in certain instances, particularly if we need that extra energy for turn 5, but a 2+2 is good. Turn 5, Thing, or 3+ Mercury or Wolf, or again, you can do some shenanigans with Merlin here. And then turn 6, Cannonball or Thing, sometimes Cannonball and Mercury, or Thing plus another card, pending, again, what happened with Merlin. Merlin spells often fit in here, turning something into something slightly better, generating a little more power on your side of the board than your opponent was ready for. 70% win rate in 65 games is huge, as this card package continues to find new ways to work. So in this instance, what we're really doing is we're saying, okay, this Cannonball and Fenris Wolf, because those are the key cards, right? You're running Gladiator and Negasonic for Fenris Wolf. You're running Mercury for Cannonball, and like then the sort of cross synergy between Cannonball and Fenris Wolf is what you're doing here. Those two cards combined with what amounts to all the good twos. What we're running with that package is all the good twos. It's like 2 drops are broken in Marvel Snap. Oh, they're the best cards. Let's run all of the broken twos, and then the Thing, because if we're running that cheap, then the Thing is basically always a destroy. Brilliant idea from Yoda. You should, if you have access to this, I know this is an expensive one. If you have access to this, I would absolutely be playing this right now if I were you. We are giving away a Mr. Fantastic First Steps. Stay tuned to the community posts later today for last week's winner. If you'd like to win this week, all you have to do is sub, like, and leave a comment. I'll tell you what comment later this video. We give away one a week, so make sure you keep it here if you want free stuff. Next up, we have Honifer's Rank 4 Scam. This is yet another version of the same list. We are not going to talk about the same package once more. Instead, we're going to note that in terms of winning games, this one is trying to use ultimately Storm. Sometimes Storm War Machine Legion, sometimes Storm with Ms. Marvel in order to steal a lane. If that happens, you just sort of crush, right? Like, obviously, Storm War Machine Legion is not going to win you more than 2 cubes, but it is a guaranteed 2 cubes. You'll take that, and then you have all the other power that this deck affords you. This is Honifer's version. Honifer's chilling around the top 4 all season thus far. Mercury, Cannonball, Legion, War Machine, Fenris, and I couldn't figure out how to replace Ms. Marvel. You can try Captain Marvel, but I think it is significantly worse. Gladiator can just be Negasonic. Note that we're running Killmonger over Negasonic in this version because we don't want opponents 1-drops mucking up our decisions, our situations. Killmonger is also really, really solid in with Cannonball. Like, just if you don't see the Mercury, it pushes a card over to a location that you might not be trying to compete in that they think they've got locked up, but now they don't have 1-drops there, so you can get in there. And there's just some decent sized 1-drops for Fenris Wolf. Fantastic can be Surge or Jubilee. and Alioth can be Doctor Doom, classic Doom. So we know the package at this point, right? So there is another play. I didn't actually explain this in a video so recently. Someone's like, I don't know what to do with Storm. I don't understand. So you play Storm on turn 3. You play War Machine anywhere, and then you play Legion on the Storm lane because War Machine lets you play in that Storm lane. At that point, the whole board is flooded. It has to be in that exact order in those exact turns, though. But at that point, the whole board is flooded. Your opponent cannot play anywhere, but you, dear War Machine player, can still play cards, which means you win because you get a turn 6 and they don't. That's it. It's incredibly powerful. It's almost unbeatable when it goes off. That's, of course, not the only game plan. We also can just play Storm in a lane, win a lane, one of the side lanes, right? Storm with goes with, who cares? A decent card like a 2-drop. That's a really good Fenris Wolf lane. That's a good fantastic lane. You could always move Mercury there as you so choose. And then you play Ms. Marvel. You play Ms. Marvel, and now you have an extra 5 power in that lane, and you can still manage to pull things off there. Like sometimes that's going to win relatively easily, especially if Fenris Wolf is in that lane. If you can get a good target out of Fenris, now you've really gone over the top in that lane. At that point, you're trying to win another lane with either Alioth, saying your combo doesn't work to the opponent, or Mercury and Cannonball saying, thanks for trying, thanks for coming, goodbye. Shang is obviously also quite the single lane winner when it works. So turn 1 pass, turn 2 Mr. Fantastic over Mercury equals Fenris, turn 3 Storm over Gladiator, turn 4 War Machine Ms. Marvel or 2+2, turn 5 Legion or Gladiator plus Fenris, Cannonball if Mercury is out. We can always Cannonball early because we have Shang and Alioth for the last turn, but Shang, Cannonball, and Alioth are end game plays. This one is rank 5. This little package of cards, this Cannonball Fenris Wolf package, is absolutely pivotal to the metagame right now. It's something you're seeing in an absolute ton of top decks. Let's move on to the second card package we're going to talk about today. But first, please check out a stream at twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. I should be live at about the same time that this video goes live, maybe an hour later. So if you're interested, please check it out. It would mean a lot if you threw your support behind the channel in that way. Our season pass question is very simple. Which of these 2 packages do you prefer? Obviously, you cannot answer that now because we haven't spoken about the second package yet. The second package is the Werewolf Merlin Hood Misery package. So Werewolf, Merlin, Hood, Misery, and Juggernaut have become a little package in Marvel Snap. That package often runs Shadow King. It's one of the safer ways to run Shadow King in the game, and around that package has come a points package. This is the Pixel package. Pixel is Roram, the winner of the second Golden Gauntlets Alliance. They create and shape a lot of the meta. The previous set of decks is sort of like that's like a KM best type thing, which is a different alliance, a different set of meta players, a different set of top players. So it's spread sort of across alliances. That other one, this one is still largely Pixel Alliance, but it should be more because Zenade is absolutely dominating with this. When I play against him with this, it feels insanely hard to win. Also, props to Zenade for figuring out the amazing synergy between Zero and Misery for this style of deck. You can find Zenade at twitch.tv/ZenadeTFT. He streams all the time. He is excellent. This deck needs Merlin, Misery, and Werewolf by Night. The representative deck here is Merlin and Hood, and Misery and Juggernaut and Werewolf with another point package. Darkhawk, Dino, so on. The Darkhawk package doesn't actually have a high enough win rate to have made this video, but we will talk about the Devil Dino version next. Starbrand and Red Guardian are hard to replace, but Surtur, Enchantress, Luke are fine. You can probably end up just going with a different points package at that point. All right, so Hood here has 3 uses. First, great with Misery. Multiple demons is absolutely great. You're perfectly happy to have that. It'll move Werewolf. It is also a card that you can use with the Merlin package. Give it, use it for extra energy, turn it into a 2-drop. Sauron makes all of your, makes 3 cards really, really great here, while also just being a solid stat at 1/3. That is Starbrand, Typhoid, and Red Skull. Those are just some of the best stats in the game if you can get rid of their negative ability. We also have another couple ways to get rid of their negative ability, which are not immediately obvious. We can 0 into Starbrand or 0 into Mary, and then if we play Misery on that 0, it's going to re-trigger 0 for the next card we play. So if we play Misery on that 0, we can then play Typhoid Mary. We can then play Red Skull or Starbrand, getting rid of 2 negative abilities instead of 1, even without Sauron, and since there are only 3 in the deck, that's crazy strong. Shadow King is here largely, obviously, because this is a very green power meta. Part of the power, however, of that previous archetype is outside of the Galactic Gwenpool version, it doesn't run a lot of green power. It instead takes away a lot of power, but Shadow King is still very strong into a lot of the Surfer, a lot of the general buff decks that are floating around, and thus is here we go. Shadow King is great right now. It can move Werewolf too. Just, be a little careful. Merlin is amazing here. Merlin moves Werewolf, right? It moves Werewolf without taking up a spot on the board. It can get rid of bad locations. It can turn a used Red Guardian or a used Juggernaut, a used 1-drop into either energy or a better card. Merlin is amazing. This is like absolutely a Merlin deck. Please note, no first steps for those of you who are free to play. Hopefully you bought Merlin. Merlin, I think, is probably the second or third best card in the game. Red Guardian gives us a little bit of extra control. A lot of the meta right now is defined by that Red Guardian isn't really present. This deck brings Red Guardian back in a real way, and then uses Merlin to have something extra to do with him. Juggernaut is your late game lane stealer. Basically, we should be able to steal a lane between Werewolf, Starbrand, Typhoid, and Red Skull, right? So if we can get a lane through that kind of power, then Juggernaut should be able to win us another. Starbrand is 310, that's big. Typhoid is 410, that's big, and Red Skull is 514, that's big. Meanwhile, Werewolf, in the right situations with Merlin going off, can dwarf them all. And of course, Misery is largely here for Hood. Don't be afraid to hit a Red Guardian in a pinch, and 0 is the secret tech for Misery. Right, this one has a 62% win rate in 500 games at High Infinite. That is absolutely humongous. Turn 1 Sauron over Hood. Turn 2 Merlin or Sauron over Hood or 0. Turn 3 Werewolf or Starbrand after 0 if Sauron. Then we have Misery on Hood or Mary or 0 on Starbrand. Turn 5 we're going Red Skull or 0 and 10, or Red Guardian and Merlin spells, Hood, Misery. We got a million choices on turn 5. Turn 6, Juggernaut, Demon, Shadow King is generally speaking the play. Make sure that you leave the Werewolf wherever you want the Werewolf, and you should win the game. If you play 2 Demons and Juggernaut, or a Demon, Shadow King, Juggernaut, you should be able to win most games, assuming you hit a couple of your 10s and or Werewolf. This deck is completely sick. I love this. Personally, my answer to this best question is I think this archetype is far more interesting than the prior. I don't know if it's better though. I think that they're both 2 of the top archetypes in the game, 2 of the top card packages in the game that are really, really easy to slot into different decks. Check out the stream team if my current schedule isn't working for you for streaming and you want to see these decks in actions. Please do check out the stream team where today is, I hope, Monday as this video goes live. Check out Gregor2424 this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up, we have Rorum's version of this archetype. Please note the same package. It doesn't look the same, right? But it is. We've got Hood, we've got Shadow King, we've got Merlin, we've got Red Guardian, Juggernaut, Fenris Wolf, and Misery here. Instead, this time, it's surrounded by Victoria Hand, Devil Dino, Snow Guard, and Kahori, along with some Kate Bishop action, as a way to get extra points. Basically, again, there's a Dark Hawk version of this. The Dark Hawk version, for me, doesn't put up enough points, and its win rate sort of reflects that. The previous version had the points package of being able to run like 3 extra 10 drops, right? This one has the point package of Victoria Hand, Devil Dino, and Kahori. The Darkhawk version has the point package of Runs Darkhawk, right? Like it doesn't have the same extra point package, hence its lack of success comparatively. And we'll see if any new cards coming in the coming seasons, wink wink, Terax the Tamer, to help that one out. All right, so you can find Roram, the leader of Team Pixel, winner of Golden Gauntlet 2 at twitch.tv/RoramPlays. This deck needs Merlin, Victoria Hand, Werewolf, Misery, and Kate Bishop. Red Guardian can be Collector, Mr. Fantastic, or Surge, and Kahori can be Shang or Ms. Marvel, although Kahori is excellent here. All right, so we know the package now, right? Hood, however, gets better here because we have Victoria Hand. We keep extra location control through Snowguard while also getting an extra bear, just decent power. Also, things that draw 2 cards have extra value here because that's +2 for Kahori. Shadow King does what Shadow King does. You have to be careful with Shadow King and Kahori in this deck in particular. Kate Bishop gives you 2 cards like Snowguard. 2 cards for Victoria Hand is a good thing to have. 2 cards for Kahori and Devil Dino are a good thing to have. Merlin likewise generates cards. You are probably going to clog your hand. If I were to try Nicholas Scratch, it would be this deck. Unfortunately, that means cutting Devil Dino, and I don't think that's right. From there, we have Victoria Hand, who's got 3 real buff targets here: the Snowguard, birds, Kate's arrows, and the Hood. That seems to be enough. Merlin gives us a way to get rid of some of these cards when we don't have the Victoria Hand, when we don't have things work right. If we can't get rid of the Hood, it can also turn to use Shadow King, use Juggernaut, use Red Guardian into better cards, as always. Also, extra cards in hand are good for Devil Dino. Red Guardian does the usual control thing. Juggernaut does the usual end of game thing. Werewolf gets stupidly huge in this list. Adding Kate to Merlin almost means that your werewolf will almost always have the right number of targets. Kahori, very often at the end of the game, like you'll play a Devil Dino on 5, and then you can play like a Kate Bishop or a Snow Guard and like a Demon on the last turn with Kahori, giving your board a massive power spike. Don't be afraid to Misery that Kahori either, but Misery is really here for Hood. Anything else it does is just sort of extra. And then, of course, Devil Dino is just very often a 5/17 in this list. This one has a 67% win rate in 130 games. Roram hit rank 19 with it before he moved on to other things because Roram, like myself, has deck ADHD. Turn 1 Hood, turn 2 Kate or Merlin overhand, turn 3 Werewolf over 2+1, turn 4 Kahori, 2+2 or Misery, turn 5 Dino or 3+ generated cards, turn 6 we're going Kahori and 2 or 3 of Juggernaut, Shadow King, Red Guardian. We can also do Juggernaut, Shadow King, Demon stuff, especially if we played Victoria Hand already. This one's a monster. I like this one every bit as much as the previous list. I think this puts out a ton of power in a really, really interesting way. Werewolf is one of my favorite cards in the history of Marvel Snap, and in this sort of card package, he absolutely, absolutely sings. Don't forget to let me know which of these two card packages is your favorite in the comments in order to enter to win a Mr. Fantastic Season Pass. We will be back later today with another video, so don't forget. If you're interested in getting some exclusive content, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments, where we release multiple videos every single day. It would mean a lot if you threw us that extra support. If you're interested in getting shouts out, that's a thing that happens now. Oh no. All right. So let's start with, because I'm using the older version of this, Dark Moogle. Thank you so much for joining. Your name is not written here because that was a different slideshow from the yesterday one, but thank you so much to Dark Moogle. Jonesy Snap 22 is our patron of the month. Thank you to Abigail Giesland, Malter Berna, It Regardless, LAB Inc. I am Frostman, Hota Navarrete, Prime Brian, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Snap, Renwrench, Gopher Kev, Keltor, Kertix Lee, Koire, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Permafrost, The Goat Seeker, Code, Hallowed, Synth, Fat Dick, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Sheep is 23, Extras V, and Skippy G, Rhyming Friends, Jessica Gamble, Subchess, Mr. Slush Death, thanks for the decks earlier, The King of Bros, Bro, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Gives, The Hoda, Clam, Colonel Foreman, Rob Silverman, David G, Wingfield, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B, Mr. Craig Sterry, Matt V, Corwin, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, You Stout, Eighth Sage, One Big Bad, Milkman for Reels, Cactus Jack, Reetzer, Steve O, 131, Yo Marco, Ted Bro, Grid Pro Joe, Snapchat Joe, Pickety Boom Bot, Bricks Do Click, Green Goblin, Unibot V2, Flan 56, Spectrum X, Hoot, Only Fox, Matt H, DJ, Mikey, Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Nick Geek, Toxic Soul King, Zadric 74, The King of Canada, JJ, Denman, Falcon, Fafler, Newman, Two Ties, Great Lord of the Parking Tucker, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. We will have again a second video later today of one type or another, and 2 videos tomorrow too. Because why the hell not? We're trying to get back in the swing of things. Peace.